Hello and welcome. So we're in my living room, not racing this week. So yeah, back in the living room. Need to work on my backdrop a little bit. We've just got London Marathon medals on the wall and a Yorkshire 10 mile medal on the wall. So yeah, I do need to work on my backdrop a little bit to become like a professional YouTuber. This week I'm going to talk to you about carbon running shoes. Times have moved on, times have changed. And I'm going to talk to you about carbon running shoes and why you should ditch the carbon shoes once and for all in your training. And there's a simple answer. Well, it's up to you. But my simple answer is no. So I am guessing that you're watching this because you're wanting some advice and maybe you're considering ditching carbon shoes once and for all and you don't know what to do about it and you've got to jump feet first into the deep end and figure out what you need to do. And at the end of the video, stay tuned, make sure you watch it all, and I'll give you some alternatives that you can use in your training to switch it up, make you a little bit faster, and you as well could conquer some PBs that you might have set in the dawn before time, before carbon shoes even existed. And don't forget, if you do like what we do on the channel, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button so you can follow me and Naomi on our journeys in the running world, see how we are improving or sometimes not improving and getting over barriers and hurdles that running and life throws at us, and drop us some comments down below. So anyway, let's crack on and talk about carbon running shoes. So let's give you some reasons why. To give you some context and a little bit of background, I started out running personally in 2013 and dinosaurs were still walking the earth, humans were yet to visit the moon, and Adidas had just released their Boost midsole, and it promised to be a game changer at the time. In comparison to today's shoes, it felt rock hard, it was firm, it was solid, low to the ground, it was a low profile racer, really. But it was like a complete game changer to the other foams that we did have. I remember the advert, it showed like a ball springing off the shoe. Realistically, it had a limited amount of cushioning, but the Adios Boost was my ultimate racing go-to. I wore it for everything. It was training the Boston Boost, racing the Adios Boost. Used to pick them up off eBay for like 20 quid because that's what the value of running shoes were back then. And it was a super shoe at its day. It had a torsion energy system, and they were a cracking shoe. And it held the marathon world record as well. Yeah, I think it was Gibraltar wore it for the marathon world record. And my own personal best of 2:26.48 at Manchester Marathon came in a pair of Adios Boost. I think they were version 3s or version 4s, and they were a cracking shoe. So anyway, carbon shoes, why should you ditch them and opt for something a whole world simpler for your training? So they do give you a assistance or performance benefit, and it might look good on Strava, we know that. But with the early Nike 4%, I've got some upstairs actually, the promised, they'll be worth some at some day, a 4% performance enhancement, the Nike 4%, the next percent when they first came out, the first iteration. So that's 4% less performance that your body might be gaining from the training stimulus that you're looking to create. And if you're wearing your carbon shoes for training, you're taking away that extra 4% that your body might need to push you over the line, to push you towards that personal best come race day. And that leads me on to my next one. So training is meant to be training. So it's meant to be putting the right amount of stress on your body. And we all know that stress plus recovery equals the adaptation. And the carbon shoes, all they're doing is cheating your body of that stress. So you're putting less stress on your body. Yes, you'll need less recovery, but it's also then cheating you of the adaptation. And we don't want that now, do we? We want it to be able to push us over the line come race day and get the most gains in the worlds of a bodybuilder come race day. And another one as well, non-carbon shoes, so the ones that are a little more supple, they're a bit more of an old school foam, using a bit of the modern technology in there, because that's what we can do nowadays. But non-carbon shoes will allow your body to do more and work your muscles more effectively. You might feel the day after you've run in non-carbon shoes a little bit more achy, and that's fine. It just means that you've worked hard, it means that you've done something. And it might take you longer to recover, and that's fine, but it allows those adaptations to take place and you'll develop stronger muscles. Non-carbon shoes work your muscles in a different way to carbon shoes. Carbon shoes might give you that assistance, but carbon shoes also put more stress through your joints, through your knees and your ankles and stuff. And people do say running's bad for your knees, but the unnatural motion of carbon shoes can be more stressful on your knees and joints. So my next point, when we first got carbon shoes and the first ever came out into the market, I got mine delivered, my Nike 4%, they were in orange because everyone had orange shoes, didn't they? And I was at mum and dad's and I just put them on upstairs. I'm walking on carpet and I felt like I was wearing moon boots. Like, I felt proper springy. And saving your carbon shoes solely for racing, because there is a time and place for wearing carbon shoes, meant that it'll mean that you have that springy feeling a whole world more, and it'll make you feel like you're wearing your moon boots again, your special shoes just for your dance and your performance on race day. And you'll get as well the full and entire benefit of wearing those carbon shoes on that race day through that performance by saving them for that occasion as well. Carbon shoes aren't meant to flex. So I've got a pair here, look, just next to me. They don't flex, they don't bend, they've got no like suppleness in them. They have a little bit, but not as much as what a fully flexed, like everyday like running shoe does. Not going to bend them because apparently it's bad for the foam. But that also means that your metatarsals aren't being worked as much, and they should be worked from the natural motion of running. And they're being restricted and they're losing that stimulus. So years ago in the market, free running was like natural flex, and Nike Free Run had some shoes as well, and they still do them. It's about strengthening your metatarsals in your feet so that your proprioception, all your joints and your natural motion of actually moving is natural, and you're losing that stimulus that you'll get from rocking your feet through a running stride. Previously, I've had stress fractures in my feet, and that was because I was doing everything in carbon shoes and I weakened my metatarsals. And speaking from experience, as soon as you jump them from a carbon shoe, it was through COVID 2020 and 2021, I was wearing carbon shoes for everything, and then very rarely leaving the house other than running. And then as soon as I was going out walking in non-carbon shoes, I'm putting more stress through my joints and through my metatarsals. My body just weren't used to it. So if you are considering stopping wearing your carbon shoes, make sure you do it as a slow process. Take it easier, slow down your runs, wear shoes for like walking and stuff, and just stay off your feet as much, but build it up gradually. Don't just jump in 2 feet, because them tiny little bones in your feet might not be used to it yet, and we need to strengthen them. Another thing as well, carbon shoes are really expensive, aren't they? I think the latest Nike Alpha Flies are pushing just short of £300, and most of them are over £200 now as a going rate for a racing shoe. Long are the days of picking up Adios Boost in a sale from sports shoes for like 50 quid. Don't happen now with your carbon trainers. So yes, saving your carbon shoes for race day means that you're going to get longer out of them. You're going to be able to get, if you race 4, 5, 6 times a year, whatever you do. I know I like to race a lot. It might be a couple of times a month. Yeah, saving them solely for race day means you're going to get more out of them. And then in your training miles, doing some training miles in some heavier shoes, some slower shoes, some everyday running shoes that I'll recommend further in the video, means that you're saving your money. They are a little bit cheaper. You're not pushing over £200 for most pairs of money. You might have an initial outlay that costs a bit more, but that outlay on carbon shoes will become less frequent, which can only be a good thing for your bank account. And then as well, last point of ditching the carbon shoes. See a lot of people, Nike Vaporflies are it's a personal gripe of mine. So people strike the ground in different ways. You've got 4-foot strikers that land on the toes. You've got midfoot strikers that land in the middle of the foot, and you've got heel strikers that land at the back of the foot. So yeah, that's the makeup of your feet, isn't it? From forefoot to heel. So the Nike Vaporflies and the Alpha Flies as well, the Alpha Flies are really good at it, force you to land really on your toes, because that's how they're made up. If you want the full benefit of the shoe, you land on your toes. If you want the full benefit of Vaporfly, you land on your toes. There's the Metaspeed Sky Edge, and there's the Metaspeed Sky Paris, or Metaspeed Edge, Metaspeed Sky. So one of them's built for a heel striker, one's built for a forefoot striker, so there's a difference. So it's about finding the right running shoe for you. And a tip for finding the right carbon shoe, or running shoe for that matter for you, is look where the heavy material, where the most rubber is on the trainer. Big layer of rubber at the front, you've got small token gestures, and then exposed foam on the heel. So this shoe's asking you to strike really on your forefoot, because that's where the most rubber is to protect the shoe. Same with the Nike Alpha Flies that I'll get out in a bit, and it's same with the Nike Vaporflies as well. So find the right carbon shoe for you. If you are not running in the right carbon shoe, you're just going to cause yourself damage. And from a bit of personal experience, we all love a bit of personalisation in it as well. So that's like all your generic stuff as to why you shouldn't be wearing your carbon shoes. So personally, my marathon PB at the time, 2:25:02, was set in 2019. It's 5 years ago now. It feels like a very long time. COVID hit, carbon shoes were firmly in my shoe rotation. I had a pair of pink Vaporflies that were bulletproof, must have done about 1,000 miles on them. And running restarted back in late 2020 and 2021. And I struggled to personal best. I struggled to hit the level. I was hitting around the level, but not the level I wanted or where I aspired to be. I was enjoying running. I was knocking out miles, sometimes more miles, more quality miles as well, and it looked very good on Strava. But it wasn't until late 2023 and up until this point, I'd not set a personal best in any running distance other than Parkrun. But the only change there is I went from doing Barnsley Parkrun to then doing a flatter Parkrun, so I set a natural PB there. But it wasn't until late 2023 I thought I need to change something here. I want a personal best. I'm putting the miles in, so I deserve to reap the rewards. And I decided to ditch the carbon shoes in racing. So I went from wearing Alpha Flies, Vaporflies for training, to wearing a pair of New Balance Rebels. It cost me 60 quid as well, which were a bonus. So I ditched the carbon shoes and I rebuilt my confidence, and the personal best returned. And then a distance I struggle with, my previous PB were 32:35 on 10k, and I knocked out a 32:03 at Doncaster and in November, late 2023. And then the PBs since then have been getting knocked down left, right and centre. And after my 4-year hiatus of not setting a single personal best, every single distance in 2024 I've set a personal best, and I put it personally down to one thing, and that's ditching the carbon shoes. And my 2:24:35 at this year 2024's London Marathon was the icing on the cake, the nail in the coffin as to why I should have ditched the carbon shoes a little bit earlier. So yeah, take my learning as well if you want from it and put it into your own thing. But it is all down to that single choice of ditching the carbon shoes. Any other reinforcement as well, if you've watched the Olympics lately, Cole Hocker, so he scalped Ingebrigtsen and Josh Kerr on the finish line to win the 1500 metre gold. And the best thing that he said in an interview after, doesn't wear carbon shoes for training, doesn't believe in them for wearing for training, just saves them for his dancing when he's at the Olympics or on the stage doing his races. And he trains most of the time in a pair of Nike Structures because he believes he gets more benefit than out of his carbon shoes or his racing shoes come race day. Even though we're not on the BBC, we're on YouTube, I'm going to give you a balanced point as to why you should wear your carbon shoes as well in training. So it might be a little bit tongue-in-cheek. For that, I don't apologise. So yeah, if you want to wear your carbon shoes, your paces will look right good on Strava and you'll look really fast and you'll probably get loads of kudos and comments and loads of followers out of it. So They do make your legs feel fresher. So if you have got work the next day and you want to be able to walk around work or do another run in the morning, they will make your legs feel fresher if you wear your carbon shoes. But equally, after the marathon or after your big event or whatever you're doing, you are still going to ache. It might just make you feel a little bit fresher, but you'll get more adaptation by not wearing your carbon shoes. As well, if you want to wear your carbon shoes, that's fine. Maybe it's because you aren't as fast as your pals that you're running with and you need to be able to keep up, and that's okay. Just know that they're getting more benefit out of wearing non-carbons, unless they're in the carbons as well, than you are. And lastly as well, I always say this, but running is about enjoying it, and that's fine. That is okay. We all do it. It's a hobby. We're amateur athletes and we're just doing it as a hobby. So running is about enjoying it. So if carbon shoes mean that you enjoy your running and you enjoy putting one foot in front of the other, that's okay. Do what pleases you, which means eventually you will get your PBs and they will fall into place, just as long as you are enjoying your training. So if it does make it feel like a little bit easier for you, a little bit nicer, a little bit fresher on your legs or whatever you get from wearing your carbon shoes, that's okay, as long as you're enjoying the process and trusting what you are doing in your training, so that you can reap your rewards come race day. Right, as I promised then, some shoes, some alternatives for you so that you can enhance your training by switching up to non-carbon shoes. So separate it into two categories. I've got my daily running shoes and then my speedier running shoes. My dailies as well, I'll use them for like recovery runs and easier runs, just because that's what they are. They are heavier running shoes, but they're also shoes that you can grind out most of the miles in. So my first up, I'll rank them in order as well of what I think is the best shoe, and I'll go up reverse order. So daily running shoes, I've only got right feet as well. New Balance Gel Nimbus, these are the 25s, you can pick them up fairly cheap. Nice big chunky sole, protect your joints, but they have also got a decent amount of flex. Non-carbon shoe, they look quite fashionable as well, so sometimes I'll wear these for work. But yeah, a decent shoe. But that'd be my number 3 running shoe for daily running. And then I've also got, these are the Nike Invincible ones. I've saved these for quite a while in the box under the bed. Nice shoe, spring all over, use them for recovery miles. Decent amount of flex again, complete Zoom X midsole, so nice and soft. Good on the joints, good on the legs, but non-carbon plated. Do use it as more of a recovery shoe. Cracked it open a couple of months ago when we went to Zante, and I've only running them when it's been dry, so yeah, they've stayed quite clean. And then the shoe that I probably bank the most miles in, I've got 4 pair of these. Probably my best running shoe in the last couple of years that have come out, second to the Invincibles, but yeah, I enjoy these a lot more now. It's my number 1 at the minute, New Balance 1080 V13. Not a fan of the V12, so I wouldn't buy a pair of them, even though I've had a pair. But yeah, the 1080 V13, got about 4 or 5 pair and another pair in a box somewhere. Most enjoyable shoe, you can bag a lot of miles in it. They do bottom out a little bit in the longer runs, but they are a really good shoe. They've got the Fresh Foam X midsole, non-carbon plate again, so you are going to get the full benefit of your training by wearing a pair of these personally, and that's how I think. So now onto some speedier shoe. These are like the ones that are going to make you look okay on Strava, but they're not a Bobby Dazzler full carbon plated shoe, but they are good enough for your training miles, for your fast workouts, for your track workouts, marathon sessions as well. I can bag in these sort of shoes personally. I'll do it in reverse order. 2 of the shoes are technically the same but different, so I'll count that as like a number whatever when I get to it. But yeah, cracking out then. So number 3, Puma Velocity Nitro. These are the number 2s. I've also got the number 1s in the cupboard. The number 1s I just save for snow days now, when it snows in UK, you know. But yeah, they've got a nice grippy midsole, outsole, sorry, full of rubber. Really good shoe, and yeah, I use these. I'll use them on the trails, use them on the roads, for the longer workouts as well. Non-carbon plated, so you've got full flex. I'll not bend it all the way. Yeah, it's got a firmer EVA carrier foam on the bottom, and then it's got the the Puma Nitro softer foam, which is, yeah, I think it's a PBA blended, which, yeah, decent shoe for clocking your miles in and your speedier workouts. On to number 2 of my faster, speedier shoes. So this one's, it's not fully carbon plated, it's got a very tiny midsole carbon shank, but it's still got full flex in the shoe as well. Very, very good shoe. Use it for track workouts. It's the Nike Street Fly. I believe they're bringing out a Street Fly 2 as well. But cracking shoe for track workouts. I have used it a little bit on the road. It's sort of like the Nike Vaporfly's smaller little brother. But yeah, really, really good. It's got the fully Zoom X foam. It kind of reminds me a lot like the Pegasus Turbo that were out. A fair few, like the good Turbo. I'm not talking about the Pegasus Turbo Nature. That was out a few years ago. So yeah, cracking shoe for knocking out some speedier workouts. I've done a lot of track miles in this, and yeah, it's a little bit lower to the ground than a Vaporfly, but yeah, cracking shoe, and it helps you, it supports you, but it means your body gets the full benefit of any workout that you are doing. Then lastly, my number 1 like non-carbon shoe, I'd say ever. I've had all 4 versions of this shoe now. I'm on the V4. I enjoyed the V3, so it is the Nike, not the Nike, that's cheating, the New Balance Rebel. So this is the V4, this is the V3. Very low profile shoe. The V4's gone up a little bit with higher stack. But yeah, it's an absolute cracking shoe for bagging. I've done a lot of marathon miles in these, a lot of marathon sessions, I've run on the track. These are a little bit wider on the bottom of the V4s in comparison to the V3s, so you do get a little bit more support, especially when turning corners on the track. But yeah, cracking shoe, love it. If you're looking for a non-carbon plated alternative, I suggest you get out there and you go and pick up any of the 3 options that I've given you, but definitely, like, without a doubt, try the New Balance Rebel as a non-carbon plated, like even racing shoe. You could try it for a race if you wanted, and you'll get the full amount of benefit out of it, and you'll get all your gains that you need. So when you're putting your shoes on race day, your carbon shoes that I'm going to go into now, what we've all been waiting for, you'll reap the rewards. And lastly, so my race day shoes, the shoes that I do wear for racing, these are carbon plated. Although sometimes I might pick my New Balance Rebels for a park run, might try a park run or something, even though park run's a run, not a race. In my Nike Street Flies, I'd probably toy with a 5k in them as well. But yeah, reverse order again. Some of these have lasted me for absolutely forever because I only save them for race day. So I've got the New Balance RC Elite. I think these are the V2s, before they start calling them the SE Elites. I have glued the insole into these because it moved. I once finished a run, or a session, because I used to wear them for sessions, back when I used to wear carbon shoes last year. Finished a session with the insoles down the back of my shorts because I didn't want to lose them. But yeah, cracking shoe, carbon plated, got a very, very good foam, and I do love a pair of New Balance. I don't know if you can tell. So yeah, cracking shoe that I would opt for on race day as well. And then my number 2, not wore these as many times as probably what I would have liked, but they are quite clean still. Could get a few quid for these on eBay, I bet, eventually. But yeah, wearing for 10Ks, might wear them for a half marathon, definitely a 5K. Nike Vaporfly, these are the V2s. I've not tried the V3s because I've not had a reason to buy them, because these are still pretty much brand new. Cracking shoe, obviously a game changer when they came out, the 4%. I have got a pair upstairs in storage in orange and blue as well. But yeah, great shoe, is my number 2 choice. Not my go-to, but a shoe that I do enjoy putting on and lacing up when it comes to wanting to set PBs on race day and get the full benefit out of all the training and reap the rewards that my non-carbon shoes have brought to me. Then lastly, my go-to for, I'd wear it for everything, to be honest. Every race that I could ever do, even a 5K. I've set my 5K PB in a pair of Nike Alpha Flies. These haven't got much wear on them at all. They are my next marathon shoes, so I'm saving them. Not wore them in a race, not wore them yet actually. Bought them off Vinted for they were brand new. They've got a couple of little scuffs on them from people like wearing them around the house and stuff. But yeah, cracking shoe. Nike Alpha Fly, pods at the front, either 4-foot striker to mid-foot, so you get the full benefit out of the Nike Alpha Fly. Still in the V1s because they've lasted me forever. I've got about 5 pair of Nike Alpha Fly V1s. Not a fan of the V2s and the V3s. You don't see a lot of the elites wearing them now, and there's a reason for it. So yeah, I've not bought any of the V3s either. So yeah, cracking shoe, my go-to for any race, any distance, any discipline. If I could get away with it on the track, I would do. I do have a pair of Nike Dragonflies that have got a plastic plate in them, and I have got a pair of the Victories as well that have got a carbon plate in them for the track that I'll wear in track races when I do lace up on the tartan. But yeah, those are my 3 go-tos for race day shoes, and that's my full video, my full monologue as to why you should ditch the carbon plated running shoes, get the full benefits of your training and reap the rewards come race day. Thank you for watching. We are 3 weeks out now personally from the Great North Run, so it'll be cracking to see how me and Naomi get on there. Thank you for watching my update on carbon running shoes, and yeah, don't forget, as I said earlier, hit the like and subscribe button. Join us on the journey on our running channel, and we'll catch you next time. So yeah, thank you. Bye.